Hey guys, so it has been a little while since I've posted on this channel, and I want you guys to know of my planning for this channel. Basically, I want every Tuesdays to be horror days for me. We all know how I do with the schedule. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it fails, but we're gonna try it for this channel. You guys have no faith in me, that's totally fine. I did need a little break there. I felt like my reviews just weren't up to par, and I know you guys were noticing that too, and I do apologize for my lackluster reviews and just lack of research I was really doing for the videos. So I wanted to come back with something that I felt passionate about and something that I knew would catch your interest and, you know, keep me interested. But I think that's part of it, is sometimes it's just too much time has passed, I lose interest and I just don't care as much. And you guys can totally sense that. So I appreciate your patience while I took a little mini break, but we are officially back, hopefully for every Tuesday. So today we're going to be talking about cursed horror movies. So obviously with the world of horror, you're probably curious if while filming or after filming, weird things happen, because sometimes the movies involve the paranormal and things like that. So is that true? I don't really know. For me, this is a little bit of a stretch because I don't believe in paranormal things, but I do believe in coincidences, and sometimes they're just a little too convenient. So the first one we're going to be talking about today is Poltergeist, which came out in 1982, and people are saying that this film is cursed because of the deaths of Heather O'Rourke, who played the little girl. She died by a medical misdiagnosis, and also Dominique Dunne, who played her older sister, was murdered by her boyfriend after filming. Some say that one of the reasons why this was a cursed movie was because they used real human skeletons as props, because plastic ones were more expensive. One of the weird coincidences is that the little brother Robbie in the film actually had a poster of the Super Bowl, and that specific Super Bowl would take place 6 years later in 1988, and Heather O'Rourke, the little girl who died from the medical misdiagnosis, actually died one day after this Super Bowl in San Diego, which is where the Super Bowl took place. That's a little weird to me if you ask me. Now, I don't know if that's like a stretch, but that seems a little bit weird, don't you think? So the next one is The Omen, which is the original from 1976, and because this has to do with, you know, the Antichrist, Satan, the devil thing, whatever you want to call him, some people believe that is why there were actual real life deaths that occurred after the movie. Star Peck and David Seltzer, who was a producer on the film, both were in planes that were struck by lightning, and then later on, Harvey Bernhard, another producer, was almost struck by lightning in Rome. There's just a lot of weird, bad luck things that really happened to the people who made this film. So in addition to those weird lightning instances, a lot of people who were involved with the movie actually were in car accidents. Donner's Hotel was actually bombed by the IRA, and Peck almost boarded a flight to Israel, which is where they were filming part of the movie, that actually crashed and killed everyone on the plane. So they have a lot of near-death experiences. So the weirdest one has to be that John Richardson and his assistant Liz Moore were involved in a car accident that actually decapitated Moore. This happened on Friday the 13th in 1976, and it actually was very similar because there is a beheading or a decapitation in the film, so it was kind of strange how that occurred. The next one is the original The Exorcist that came out in 1973, again with the lightning. Why is it that all the Satan movies have something to do with lightning? And this one's really strange. Like I said in the beginning, I don't believe in any of this stuff, but it's very coincidental and very strange. So across the street from the theater where The Exorcist premiered was a church, and it was struck by lightning and the cross fell to the ground. There were at least 8 deaths that were associated with this movie, and the set of the house where it took place caught on fire and burned to the ground, except for Linda Blair's, who played the little girl in The Exorcist, except for her room was completely untouched. That's a little strange. The next movie is The Conjuring, which is, of course, a more recent film. All the other ones have been kind of older. This one came out in 2013. And of course, this follows the story of Ed and Lorraine Warren, which if you want a whole video about them, there are some conspiracy theories and also some just like exposing of them that I kind of want to touch on because I've never talked about it, and it's such an interesting topic to me. So if you want a video on Ed and Lorraine Warren, the real people, not the ones in The Conjuring, but if you want one on the real people, just let me know. So people in the Philippines were actually so disturbed by this movie that priests were actually available at the movie theaters where it was shown. Apparently there were strange claw marks on Vera's computer, who's the actress that plays Lorraine Warren. James Wan's dog would growl at invisible things. There was a strange wind that put Carolyn Perrin in the hospital apparently, and then there was a fire. So there were some weird things happening along with this story and with the filming of this movie. So the last one we're going to talk about today is Rosemary's Baby, which came out in 1968. It's actually a really, really good film. I highly enjoyed it. This is by Roman Polanski, and he actually has the worst luck out of all of them, which this was really interesting to find out because I had no idea the link between his events of his life and the Charles Manson life. Like, they do cross paths. So first things first, the film's composer died of a brain clot 1 year after creating the film, and this is actually how a character in the movie dies. And then the producer, William Castle, of the film suffered kidney failure a little bit after the movie and swore that the movie was cursed. But Roman Polanski, he has a bad life. So he purchased a house for him and his 8-month pregnant wife, Sharon Tate, which that name might sound familiar if you are kind of interested in the Charles Manson world or you've followed that at all. Basically, the previous owner of the house was a music producer and refused to produce Charles Manson's music, so he sent his cult over there to get revenge. I don't think that the cult members knew that this wasn't actually the producer anymore, so they murdered Sharon Tate. Obviously, they also killed her unborn child and 4 other people by stabbing them all to death, which I actually saw images for this, which that is Googleable, but I went to the Museum of Death while I was in LA this last 2 weeks ago, whatever. And it was quite fascinating because the images were so unsettling, and there was a lot of imagery in that place that I couldn't really look at, which I don't like real gore, but I thought I could handle it a little bit, but it was hard. Anyway, one of the famous images from the Charles Manson case was when one of the people soaked up Sharon Tate's blood in a rag and wrote the word pig on the front door. So Polanski survived this because he was in London on the night that this actually happened, except later he was charged with statutory rape. And then the weirdest coincidence about this film was that the Manson family obviously nicknamed their murder spree Helter Skelter, which is obviously a Beatles song. They named it after a Beatles song, and John Lennon actually was murdered outside of the Dakota Hotel, which is where he was staying, which is where Rosemary's Baby was filmed. So people say that this movie is cursed, but ultimately I think it's just really bad luck of the director. I don't know. Let me know if some other movies that you've heard of that have a curse to them, or just some really bad backstories or anything like that down below. Let me know if you like this kind of different video on my channel. I could definitely do more of these kind of things. I typically save these for like things on my other channel, but oh, I wanted to tell you guys also, I did a psychology of horror over on my main channel because it was more psychology than horror based. Otherwise I would have saved it for you, but I will link that up here and down below if you want to check that out. I think you guys would be really interested in it. It's basically why do we like horror. I just thought I'd give that a little shout out for you guys because you guys are my horror fans. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and are excited for some future videos coming up, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.